Jodi, I need you to step out.
I have my attorney.
That's great. Step out of the house.
No, I'm not going to step out of the
Step
house.
out of the house.
Step out of the house.
Whoa.
We're just gonna see if
Whoa,
anybody else.
whoa.
Is there anybody else home?
Wait a minute, how do you come to my house?
Right there.
On this morning in August 2023, when police stepped inside this luxury Utah residence, they expected to find a missing child. But as the beam of the body cam hit the corner of the room, the scene unfolding before them left even the most seasoned officers paralyzed. This was a side of Ruby Franke's home that her 2.5 million subscribers had never seen. In the history of YouTube, Ruby Franke was the blueprint of the perfect mother. Her channel, 8 Passengers, was a curated advertisement for discipline and family values. But the woman standing in this body cam footage wasn't the one who smiled for the camera. Standing there was a cold, detached, and silent figure, a woman who showed zero remorse, even as she looked at the broken state of her own children. In psychology, this is called master manipulation. It's where an individual constructs a facade of empathy for the world while turning their own home into a living hell. This police raid didn't just open a door, it tore down the curtain on one of the most calculated deceptions in internet history. The question wasn't why Ruby did it. The question was, how did millions of people watch her do this for years and never see the monster hiding in plain sight? The rise of Ruby Franke was nothing short of a cinematic script. Launched in 2015, 8 Passengers quickly ascended to the top tier of YouTube's family channels. Ruby wasn't just a vlogger anymore. She had become a parenting guru. Her house was spotless. Her 6 children were remarkably polite, and her husband, Kevin Franke, stood by her side at every turn. But if you look closely at those videos, past the bright lighting and the smiles, there were signs, red flags that something was deeply wrong. Ruby's philosophy wasn't built on love, it was built on absolute control. In one infamous video, she confiscated her son's favorite beanbag simply because he played a prank on his brother. In another, she refused to send food to school for her 6-year-old daughter because the child had forgotten her lunchbox at home. Ruby called these natural consequences. Psychologically, Ruby didn't view her children as human beings. She viewed them as projects. When they failed to meet her rigid standards, she subjected them to public shaming, all under the guise of education, broadcasted to millions. But after 2020, this discipline took a dark, sinister turn. Ruby met Jodi Hildebrandt, and the walls of her home began to grow higher. She severed ties with her own parents. She forced her husband out of the house, and she completely isolated her children from the outside world. The mask was finally slipping, and the face underneath was more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. August 30th, 2023, a 12-year-old boy, and unemaciated and covered in open wounds, climbed out of a window in Evans, Utah. He didn't just run, he escaped. He knocked on a neighbor's door, his voice trembling, asking for food and water. But it was the duct tape wrapped around his ankles and wrists that told the real story. The neighbor called 911, and in that moment, the perfect family facade finally shattered. When the police arrived at Jodi Hildebrandt's home, they found another child, a 10-year-old girl, in a similar state of malnutrition. The evidence of what had been happening behind those closed doors was undeniable. This wasn't just strict parenting, it wasn't systematic, ritualistic abuse. Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were arrested on the spot. As the news broke, the internet was in shock. But for those who had been watching closely for years, it was a chilling confirmation of their worst fears. The 8 Passengers' journey had ended in a courtroom. Ruby stood before the judge, not as a celebrated YouTuber, but as a criminal, facing the consequences of her own lessons. In a final twist of irony, the woman who taught millions how to raise children had lost the right to ever be near her own again. As investigators began to peel back the layers of this case, all roads led to one name, Jodi Hildebrandt. Jodi wasn't just a random friend. She was a licensed therapist and the founder of an organization called Connections. Her job on paper was to heal broken relationships, but in reality, she was an expert at breaking human minds. When Ruby Franke met Jodi during a vulnerable period of her life, She had no idea she was stepping into a trap, from which there was no easy exit. Jodi's ideology was simple, yet dangerous. She taught that the world was divided into truth and distortion. She convinced Ruby that her children, her husband, and even her own parents were living in darkness, and only Jodi held the light to save them. In psychology, this is the classic blueprint for building a cult. First, Jodi isolated Ruby from her support system. Then, she reframed agonizing physical abuse as a sacred act to purify the children's souls. She whispered a toxic narrative into Ruby's ear. If your child is disobedient, they are possessed by evil, and to drive that evil out, starvation and physical restraint are not only justified, they are necessary. The woman who once filmed her children's birthday parties was now at Jodi's command, filming their punishments for Jodi's review. It was a state of total psychological enslavement. Ruby's own identity had vanished. She was no longer a mother. She had become a weapon in the hands of Jodi Hildebrandt. But in the eyes of the law, brainwashing is not a legal defense. Ruby made her choice. And now, the bill was coming due. Psychologists believe that no one becomes a monster overnight. In the case of Ruby Franke, it was a slow burn, a gradual process where humanity was stripped away, layer by layer. Evidence found in Ruby's diaries and her correspondence with Jodi revealed a chilling reality. This wasn't just physical violence. This was being waged in the name of spiritual warfare. Ruby had been conditioned to believe that her children were under demonic influence in her twisted mind. Withholding food or forcing them to sleep on cold floors wasn't abuse. It was the only way to save their souls. Inside the interrogation room, Ruby didn't act like a typical suspect. She wasn't defensive. Instead, she appeared completely detached, cold, and silent. It's a psychological state where an individual, convinced of their own righteousness,
views the rest of the world as the enemy.
But the most agonizing part of this story is the contradiction between Ruby's public life and her private reality. At the exact moment she was sitting in front of a camera, lecturing millions on honesty and principles, her own son was lying on a basement floor, waiting for his next punishment. The boy who was once the star of her vlogs had been reduced to a problem that needed to be solved. Then there is the question of Kevin Franke, Ruby's husband. Where was he during all of this? Was he truly unaware? Or was he too a victim of Jodi Hildebrandt's psychological cage? When we examine Kevin's statements and the police recordings, we see a portrait of a broken family, where every member lived in constant fear of one another. Police files reveal that Ruby and Jodi had systematically forced Kevin out of the home. According to Jodi's philosophy, Kevin was not walking the path of truth, therefore, he had to be purged from the children's lives. Kevin, who was himself entangled in this ideological web, spent months living in a separate apartment, completely cut off from his family. But was this mere helplessness, or was it criminal negligence? Investigators struggled to understand how a father, living in the same city, could remain so oblivious to the screams of his own children. However, amidst this collapsing family, there was one voice that refused to be silenced. Ruby's eldest daughter, Ruby Franke. Sherry, who had already left home for college, was the first to sound the alarm. She had witnessed the disturbing transformation in her mother's personality. When Ruby blocked her and severed all ties, Sherry didn't just walk away. She began reaching out to authorities. She called the police. She notified social services. But tragically, the law didn't intervene until the day Ruby's son took matters into his own hands and escaped through that window. Sherry's statements paint a haunting picture. Ruby's home had ceased to be a residence. It had become a psychological prison, a place where children were weaponized against one another. To avoid punishment, a child was forced to spy on their siblings, reporting every mistake to Ruby or Jodi. It was a system designed to connivance. It was never just a counseling group. Jodi had constructed a parallel reality, where she positioned herself as a divine authority. She targeted influential figures like Ruby Franke, knowing that through them, her toxic message could reach millions. But what was Jodi's method? She hunted for vulnerabilities. If Ruby felt even a slight anxiety about her parenting, Jodi would weaponize that concern, turning it into fear, and eventually, obsession. She convinced Ruby that the world was on the brink of collapse, and only those who followed her brutal, uncompromising path would be saved. The investigation revealed a haunting pattern. Ruby wasn't the first victim. Jodi had been dismantling families for years, separating husbands from wives, and mothers from their children. She was a psychological parasite, an entity that fed on stable families, draining them until they were nothing but mental slaves to her will. The case of Ruby Franke stands out because she recorded her own descent into madness with a sense of pride. She truly believed she was teaching the world how to be better, while in reality, she had fallen into a void so dark that not a single ray of light could reach her. December 2023, when Ruby Franke stood in that courtroom, the glamorous YouTube persona was nowhere to be found. In her place was a broken, seemingly remorseful woman. She pleaded guilty to all charges, and the documents presented to the court were enough to haunt anyone's soul. Ruby admitted that this wasn't just punishment, it was systematic torture. She confessed to forcing her 12-year-old son to stand in the sun for hours, withholding food, and even rubbing salt into his open wounds. As these confessions were read aloud, a heavy silence filled the room. No one could fathom how a mother could do this to her own flesh and blood. But the question remained, was this remorse genuine? Or was it just one last, calculated, psychological tactic to avoid a life sentence? When given the chance to speak, Ruby wept. She apologized to her children, blaming her descent on Jodi Hildebrandt, claiming she had been led astray. But in the eyes of the law, Jodi Hildebrandt wasn't just an advisor. She was the architect, the mastermind, and a full partner in the crime. When Jodi faced the judge, there were no tears, no signs of regret, only a cold, eerie silence. The investigation revealed a horrifying truth. Jodi wasn't just giving orders. She was directly involved. She had rebranded the act of binding and starving children as therapy. The court remarked that Jodi had committed the ultimate professional betrayal. A therapist, whose duty is to heal, had instead crippled a family, both mentally and physically. In February 2024, the scales of justice tipped. Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were both sentenced to 4 consecutive terms of 1 to 15 years in prison. This means they could face anywhere from 4 to 60 years behind bars. The sentence sent a clear message. The law does not only punish the hand that strikes, but also the mind that sows the seeds of violence. Today, Ruby Franke's digital empire has vanished. She and Jodi now sit behind the same prison walls, serving their time. Ruby's story serves as a chilling reminder that not every face we see on the internet is real. Sometimes, behind the most beautiful lives, lies the ugliest truth. The case of Ruby Franke will forever stand as a warning. When we sacrifice humanity in the name of discipline, the walls of a home can become a prison. In the blink of an eye,